was such a sad moment.
So how would you describe the new record?
That's so hard. I describe I describe it being fuck's sake, that's the hardest question ever. How would I describe it? Well, it's a nice rock album combining all the elements we've done before as a band, of course. But I'd kind of describe it as being the step David Lynch took, when doing a Blue Velvet or Razorhead, then doing Blue Velvet, then doing Wild at Heart, and then all of a sudden coming up with the idea for Twin Peaks. I think that's basically the step we did. So it's a bit more like it. His films, you were able to see them in special places, and all of a sudden Twin Peaks was at everybody's home. So hopefully our album's going to be the same. It's going to be the most crooked and twisted entertainment you're ever going to hear, but it's going to be on everybody's tables and everybody's computers and everybody's iPods, hopefully.
Cool. How do you think it compares to Love Metal?
It's very different, it could be even a bit more, it's a bit more accessible, a bit more straightforward. We were working on the idea of having really fast songs. We've always had really slow ballads, a lot of them. So let's have a lot of fast stuff happening in it, and having a bit of the cult influence in it, like She's a Sanctuary kind of vibe, and big choruses, reminiscent of our days back when we recorded Razorblade Romance. So very 80s choruses, but then having the Sabbath riffs and mid sections, and so it's basically the same.
What ambitions do you have for the album?
Well, we probably talked about that a while back, but probably the same as ever, just to be able to keep on going. I just wish that we'd stay as friends within the band, and we'd be able to live a healthy and a happy life, and be able to tour as much as we want and see the whole world, and meet new people, and just spread the disease. That's the idea.
Do you have favourite tracks on the record?
Well, yeah, I love the last track, in The Night Side of Eden. That's the prog rock thing, and which is somehow, excitingly for me personally, marries maybe Jane's Addiction, Pink Floyd, and Entombed, the early days, and I like that. And there's a track called Killing Loneliness that's going to be the second single. I like that a lot. So for some reason, sort of like it's got the similar sort of like uplifting melancholy of My Chemical Romance's Helena. It's kind of like can do that to it, but still kind of a bit miserable.
Cool.
It's like Nick Holmes from Paradise Lost with a pink hat.
I hear there was a porn video shot in the place where you recorded as well.
Yeah, but it was kind of weird that we rented the mansion for ourselves for 2 months and paid a decent amount of money out of it anyway. It's an expensive country, but they never told us that they had double booked it several times. So we had Renee Svelziger, we had Cindy Crawford, we had Nicole Kidman, all of them doing like photo shoots, and then having to play full-blown like a feature-length Playboy shoot back. So it was kind of kooky. That was a couple of it was like on the second to the last day of the whole recording. It was still supposed to be backing vocals and all that, and it was very, very hard to concentrate with all those silicone boobies hanging around. It was funny, but at the same time it was really annoying.
Did you get involved in the shoot?
No. It wasn't. It was more about just like pretty girls naked and in lingerie, just like hanging about. That kind of like adult entertainment you can show on TV.
Right. Now you mixed the album at Jimi Hendrix Studios. Did the ghost of Jimmy appear at any point?
Well, I was kind of like actually laughing about it because they told us in the first place that the mansion when we recorded it was haunted, but we never had any visitations. And then going to the Electric Lady in New York, they said that that's haunted by Jimi Hendrix's ghost, because he used to live upstairs. And then one night something weird happened that the whole studio was empty, and then I was walking out of the studio, nobody was there. I walked this big corridor, long corridor there, and all of a sudden I could clearly smell hash, and I was like, there's no ventilation systems anywhere. I was like, it's not, nobody smoked here because it was clearly like somebody, puffed something out. And then I decided that the ghost of Jimi Hendrix is a puff of smoke of hash, and so I didn't see Jimi Hendrix's ghost, but I smelled it, and I inhaled Jimi Hendrix. And it felt good.
So will dark light kill off the crazy frog?
At least dark light will, spiritually assassinate the crazy frog, and I think that it's good that crazy frog exists, because crazy frog is like the serpents in the desert, when we're like Jesus, being tempted by it. But I think that it's good that it exists so people can realize how shit music can really be, because that's not even music anymore. And it's abnormal for frogs to have penises, and it's very I don't find it being decent at all that the little kids are checking out frogs' penises as a hobby.
Cool. And finally then, what's your biggest fantasy?
My biggest fantasy is to be able. Hey, well, I'm gonna be a wimpy person. I said maybe to have kids one day. That'd be lovely. Be great to have a little tiny toddler there. That's one of my fantasies. Maybe being able to one day maybe make a bit of money to buy a ranch like Neil Young or whatever, somewhere in the countryside. I don't know in which country. I was thinking of like Scotland and stuff like that. That'd be so cool. So I love Scottish people, I love English people, so I love the sense of humour and all that. It'd be great being somewhere just in the countryside and a place to go to, and tell the toddlers bad jokes. But yeah, please, dear people, don't spend your money on the Rasmus. Spend your money on Dark Light.
It's a straightforward rocker and describes very well the sound of the forthcoming album. It's kind of like good taste of what is to come in August. So it's a nice, straightforward pop tune with all the elements that him is known for. And in that particular song, it's probably about pretending in a relationship with a friend or with whomever. That loved ones and friends can see you through. You don't have to pretend to have friends. You don't have to pretend to be anybody else than what you are. Just be honest and frank and what you are, and that's the best way to take care of your relationships in general. About the album.
Yes, the album.
Well, it's hard to say anything about the album. I actually we're going back to Finland tonight, and then we're going to have the mastered version in our hands. So we haven't heard the finished product ourselves yet, but it's going to be good. It's sad in a positive way, which means it's very melancholic still, but yeah, hopefully it's not depressing.
How do you relax when you're on tour?
Drinking and reading and taking a bath.
What sort of stuff do you drink?
Whatever with alcohol.
Whatever, as long as it's alcohol.
Yeah, something like that. Well, maybe some coffee and water every now and then, but it's pretty simple. There's no time usually to relax. It's more about, whenever we have our separate hotel rooms, we can sort of like just lay back and have a wank.
How do you prepare for a show?
I don't really. We don't have any sort of like rituals, satanic or Christian. So what I basically do, I get like butterflies in my stomach, so I need to take a shit before every gig, like 20 minutes before, and that's basically my routine.
And finally, just describe an average day in the life of Villa Velo.
Depending on what I do, basically I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, I light my first cigarette, and that's sort of like, that goes on for another hour, so like, smoking about 5 fags, and then I'm making myself a cup of coffee, and sitting down, picking up an acoustic guitar, start strumming it, and maybe take some headache pills because of the hangover. It's pretty simple. I don't do anything extravagant, so just play a lot of music when I'm back at home, and maybe watch a movie every now and then.